Cool, yeah. All right.
Wow.
Well, I just want to say hello to everybody here. I'm going to try to scoot a little bit closer to you here. Welcome to the channel again at Seekers of Truth. If you can, in the comments, just let us know if you can hear us properly. Just testing the mic and everything. So I just want to see if it's working properly for you guys and you can hear us. So today, again, we have our beautiful Jade with us.
Hello.
Yeah, and we have a couple of subjects that we will be talking about. First and foremost, we want to get into mindfulness and meditations. A little bit of what it means for us, because I know for everybody, it's thank you, Ricardo. Yeah, so that's my brother. That's where we got it from.
Oh, yeah.
We just played your bowl, and I'm not too sure if you saw it or not, but Fredo is watching. Okay, cool. Awesome.
It's a very nice bowl.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Like you said, you don't even have to, you barely even have to hit it, and it's really nice. I wish I kind of knew which chakra it was for.
Isn't that your third eye with the, or no, it's not. It's your, because it has the three, no.
That's the
That's the
Om
Om.
symbol, but I'm not too sure if it's universal one or if it's specifically for a chakra or not. But anyways, yeah, it's really, really beautiful. Yeah, so like we were saying, I don't know if so he's still ready. You saw, yeah. So anyways, we were talking about mindfulness, so what it means for us. And for myself, it's more about just, I guess you can say, being in the moment, being present, and not going into that multitasking type of world that we created for ourselves. Kind of veering away. So everything that you're actually doing. So when you wake up in the morning, if you're making your coffee, you're actually just thinking about making your coffee. You're smelling the coffee. You're using all of your senses and working around that and just being in there exactly at that moment in time. Most people, including myself, we don't really do that. We always incorporate everything else. You have a family, you think about your kids, you think about this, you think about that, like everything's going through your mind. And I know one thing that really helps me out a lot, and you can do it kind of at the beginning or after this session, but as soon as you wake up, you write down all of the things that you need to get done for the day. And then afterwards, you do your meditation just to kind of calm your mind down again, and then work and walk into mindfulness. So every step that you take, as soon as you get out of your bed, as soon as you place your feet on the ground, you just listen to every sensation and every motion that's going on within your body. And to me, that's what mindfulness is really about. It's basically undoing everything that we were ever taught. Especially with the multitasking and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, at work, I mean, what do we do?
We're constantly go, 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 multitasking.
Exactly.
Well, there's also that, like, that thing of, like, slowing down everything that you do during your day. Like, not continuously being in a rush, because when you rush, you're not mindful, you're not in the present moment. So it's like taking those breaths, and like if you find you're like brushing your teeth like really hard in the morning trying to get out the door, it's like take a second and just like breathe and like slow it down, because it also helps your nervous system too.
Yeah, especially your vagus nerve and all that. So you kind of get away from that fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's kind of it's retraining yourself basically completely to get out of that focus and instead just be in one focus instead of the multitude of focuses, I guess. Yeah, so I've been trying to do that lately. Of course, at the beginning, it's always a little bit more challenging. And like I was saying too, sometimes for some people, they would rather do the meditation and then write down everything in the journal of what's supposed to be happening during the day or what they need to get done. Or you do the opposite. As soon as you wake up, you write down all the things on the journal and then you do your meditation. So everybody's a little bit different. And so you do it, what makes you feel comfortable, whatever comes first to you. So for me, that's what mindfulness is kind of about. And then later on, I just want you to maybe talk about mindfulness for yourself, or did you want to
Mindfulness.
add anything else? Or
No, did you want me to talk about my Tibetan soldier?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say. So yeah, now we're gonna talk about a little bit more about meditations.
Yeah.
Um, so Jade is gonna I don't know if you're gonna guide people to do the meditation or explain your meditations.
I guess just, yeah, I think I'll explain kind of how I do the meditation and stuff and how I kind of got into doing it more so. But yeah, basically about like a couple months ago, I realized I needed like a lot more peace in my life. Um,
Yeah.
which can be really hard to bring it in when you haven't had it for a very long time, or it's like you don't
Yeah.
like cultivating that feeling and like the present moment and stuff. So I basically like manifested and with like a flower of life grid for more peace. I came in and I asked, any spirit guides that wanted to help me to come through. And as soon as that happened, I went to meditation after I did that, probably like the next day. And there was like this Tibetan soldier that came through. And he was so cool because he wasn't like any other spirit guide. His presence was so subtle and so subtle and like so peaceful. Like you could not have really known that he was there, but his presence was like powerful in a sense.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so he came through and he never like taught me how to like meditate or anything like that. Because I realized when he did come through that I didn't actually know how to meditate really.
Okay.
And then he came through and well, not that I didn't know, but I wasn't
It was a different method.
it was a
That's
different
all.
method, yeah.
Mhm.
But he came through and he didn't teach me how to do it. He just sat with me and meditated with me. And his energy just being there, again when there's like a frequency there, like I would imagine the same thing. Like if you went to go meditate in a room full of like monks or something like that, like you would, get that energy, that frequency, be able
Yeah.
to dive into it so much faster.
Yeah.
So that's what it felt like.
Oh, cool.
So that was my experience. And what I just learned on how I meditate doesn't really matter where I am or anything. It's just like closing your eyes or keeping them open, but just concentrating on your breath and just not
Yeah.
concentrating on cultivating any feeling, but allowing that feeling to kind of come through.
Hmm.
And then sometimes it takes longer if you haven't meditated for a while. Sometimes it comes in pretty fast. I think it depends on where your energy is at that moment and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I do it. And if I ever I use my spirit guides very often. If I ever need help with anything, I am just like I pull them in because I'm like they're literally just like a cheat sheet right there.
Yeah.
Like they have the frequency of it. I'm like I may as well just use them if I'm struggling. So yeah, if I'm ever like struggling or I need to like kind of bring it in right now, or I feel the need to, I'll just kind of ask him to come through. And again, they're always there to help. So I can just it's cool when he comes in because and I do notice with like my spirit guide, like the essence of Merlin too, is that it's not like they just jump through and they're like, hey, I'm here now. It's like their presence was always kind of there and it's just kind of like a light slowly kind of getting like their energy like when he comes through when I'm trying to meditate and I find that I need help or I want him to meditate with me, it's like his presence is like a light bulb slowly getting like
Lighter.
lighter
Oh, lighter.
and he's
Okay.
just like right there all of a sudden and then he just kind of helps me like go through it as well too. So it's
Nice.
quite beautiful. I also find that when I do it sometimes with him, I find my heart chakra kind of gets a little bit more of a glow. Like you
Okay.
feel it a little bit more. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like I don't know if it's just it's probably not because he's there, it's probably because he's helping me dive even deeper into the sensation of it that you get to like a certain moment in meditation where it's kind of like your heart chakra like opens up
Yeah.
and you just kind of like flood with emotion.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
like a huge heart opener
Yeah.
when that happens. Holy, I'm like remembering all those times and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. It's emotions, but it's not overwhelming though. Like it's a
No.
lot of emotions. Like it's so
Yeah.
nice and big, but it's not an overwhelming feeling. It's just so nice. It's it's loving, obviously,
Oh yeah.
but not loving too as like when you love your partner. It's a completely different type of
Oh
love.
yeah. I feel like everyone needs to experience it because
Yeah,
it's
I
so
know.
different. And when I try to explain it to people, I'm like, it's not like you love your partner, it's not like you love your family or anything. You're just like feeling the universe is love inside you, because that's what they say the universe is at like its complete natural like actual state. It's just pure love.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you do it, you get kind of a glimpse of it inside of yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's so crazy about how we just get like it, like the door opens like a little bit and we just like pour out and we're just like crying and we're just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I'm like, imagine what that would be if we were in our human state and we like experienced like the bountiful amount of like love there actually is. Like, oh my gosh, I don't think we'd be able to like handle it.
I know.
Like
That's probably why actually we only feel it like a little bit at a time, I guess, in so many ways. So you feel it for a certain amount of time, but then it kind of stops after. And I'm assuming it's because of the intake, like you said, right? The body too is like so dense. Well, it's so dense, and for that type of energy it's kind of almost like explosive inside of you type thing. So yeah.
Bomb.
That'll be our next subject. That's why she's making anyway.
Hello, Kevin.
Yeah, hi everybody. Hey Kevin. Thanks for being here. Hey Deb. So yeah, anyways, so with the meditations, actually, so you did talk about Merlin too, right?
Oh yeah,
So
Merlin. Yeah. Oh yeah, my experience with him too. He's so different. He's so like alchemy and just so like it's not like he just like stands there or like helps me. He's just like doing all this stuff to me and I'm just like but yeah, there was like a while there where well like you told me how to do this and stuff is that you like you sit down in the morning before you leave to go to work or anything like that and you just take the time just to connect your third eye to one of your spirit guides. And so the one guy who I like doing that with is the Essence of Merlin, which is like my main spirit guide. And for a while there, it was like really cool. I would just like connect it, and then suddenly I would feel him coming through even before I would, start to connect my third eye. And it was like a daily ritual, like a daily habit for both of us just to connect that. And then I found him more connecting like my fifth eye. And obviously I do it during like meditation, kind of either at the beginning or at the end. I do it at the beginning if there's like if I wanted to leave that time open to any messages to come through, because that's when your brain is very calm and it allows it to come through.
yeah.
Or I would do it at the end after I was like completely calm. But he would yeah, he would I'm losing my train of thought now.
Happens to me all the time. So
I know. I'm like, what am I talking about? But he would do that. And then I've been doing it for like a couple months and stuff, and then suddenly it started happening a few weeks ago. And it happened first when I was like driving. My brother was driving me to my friend's house, and suddenly I felt I was like, oh, like we were gonna go out, and I was like, maybe I should like connect my third eye just so I have my intuition with me to kind of like protect me and stuff. And so I started connecting my fifth eye actually, third and fifth, and then um suddenly I felt like he was coming into my body and like he was there where I was. And it was like I was really feeling his energy, and I felt it on the exterior. I felt because I have in the past asked him to show me his energy because when that happens, I go into this very euphoric state. And it's like amazing. And I'm on like cloud nine.
Yeah.
But this one was a lot different because it was a lot higher of a frequency because he was actually like where I was and I was feeling his energy on a very intense level. And so because of that, it was like it was too much. And I had to ask him to like be like, no, that's too much now.
Yeah.
I'll say that for another day.
Yeah.
And then after a while I started getting used to it more and not entering the state of like panic or anxiety, but allowing myself just to experience it and staying grounded at the same time too, because that's the hard part, is staying grounded. Especially when you're like feeling that really high frequency energy that you're not used to.
But what he's doing is he's doing it bit by bit.
Yeah.
So you get kind of used to it.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that you said, okay, this is enough, which is awesome because I mean, well, no, it is because
sure. Some people don't say no to their spirit guides.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's your body, right?
Yeah.
It's for you to decide type thing. But when you feel it coming in and it starts being a little bit too much or whatnot, then you tell them to back off, and then they'll come back, obviously. But I mean, it's just gonna be you're gonna get used to it more and more. So actually, I was just watching Bashar, talking about
Oh
that.
yeah?
Yeah, he was just talking about it in one of the episodes that I was watching, and that's what was happening with him is that Bashar was coming, but it was like almost too much for him.
Oh yeah.
So he would have to come in like bit by bit, sometimes even from another
Slowly,
energy
yeah.
source in order to be more gentler, like a gentle source.
What do you mean like from a different energy source?
A different entity, I guess. So it was more of a
Oh.
female-ish version for him at first. So this female version, I guess you can say, or entity would come in, and it was a gentler process for him to grow and accept the energy from Bashar afterwards, if you understand what I mean. Like,
Ah.
so she was there to bring in that same type of energy as Bashar, but it was just a
Yeah.
gentle version of it. So he would get used to that. And then when he was ready for it, then Bashar was coming in more and more, and it's almost like practicing,
Yeah, true.
like you just have the levels and stages and stuff like that. And that was how he got to channel afterwards
That's so
and be able to
cool.
handle it. Mm.
I wonder how long that took him to get to that
That I
level.
don't know. I don't think he mentioned the time per se, but
Yeah.
it did obviously take at least a couple of times type thing before
Oh
he came
yeah.
in.
That's so
So
cool.
yeah, no, it is. Yeah. And it's good
Wow.
that I mean, if you want to, of course, this is all by choice, right? Everything is with choice. So
Oh
if
yeah, if
you
you want to
want to do
experience
that,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. I 100% do though. I want to understand what that energy is like
Yeah.
up there and stuff. Well, it's so cool. You know what I mean? And I it's so funny how like your soul like kind of came down here to earth, forgot it all just to experience the little bits of it and how exciting it is. You know what I mean?
And
It's
then
like
you leave and then you come back and you start all over again. No, anyways, yeah. You forget everything
oh
and
my
yeah.
gosh, yeah. That's crazy.
It is crazy, yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But yeah, just to finish the little thing about
Yeah.
Merlin, the essence of Merlin. It's not actually Merlin, it's the essence of him.
Hmm.
But he started to do this thing, which I was just telling Jose before, like we went on to this whole thing. But um, it was so cool. When I started connecting my third eye, he started like coming into like my space and everything like that. And I was at this point where I was like, okay, I'm okay with feeling this level of energy
Hmm.
and connecting it. But what he did is because you have 12 eyes, you have one, two, three, and then going all the way up to the top of your head, and like it shoots up to your crown chakra.
Hmm.
I found him basically like fluttering all those eyes open. It was like wings just kind of opened up on all the sides and just kind of like it's like the sound that I heard was like your back, like your spine cracking all the way up. Like there was like a
Cool.
spine on the top of my head. It just like was like a ripple of cracks to my 12th eye. And it's like then all these wings had opened up. And it wasn't that he was I guess opening up is kind of like the wrong term because he wasn't opening my eyes up. He was kind of opening up my awareness around it,
Hmm.
which
Cool.
was so cool. And now every time I connected like my third eye with him, it just goes all the way up, all my eyes, just kind of that. And I find because of that, because like your eyes are there to kind of break through these false realities. Like that's kind of what they help you to do.
Yeah.
And I find in that sense I'm a lot more wiser
Hmm.
and kind of understanding this world and the next one. And because yeah,
Your perspectives kind of change,
it
right?
has changed.
And that's what's
Yeah.
important is always being open, just seeing those different types of perspectives and working around it basically, right? So, and
Yeah.
that's growth, that's evolution,
Whatever it
really.
is. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's pretty cool.
Right.
Definitely, yeah.
This is gonna be so cool. Like what we're all gonna look like when we've like brought like this like spiritualness into like the body and what because it's a part of like evolution. Like this is like kind of like the next part is bringing like that's what the ascension process is bringing that through into the physical.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be so cool when everyone's like doing all this stuff and everything. Like I wonder what it's gonna look like.
Well, it's going to be a bit of actually like we were practicing or telekinesis, telepathy, all of that different types of stuff is
Oh
it's gonna
yeah.
grow more and more, right? But that's because um our bodies too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's fairly dense, but in general, the body is getting lighter and lighter too. So
True.
the cells are more into the crystalline, um, turning into crystalline, I guess the best way to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, basically, it's getting lighter and lighter. So of course, we're talking about who knows how many generations before we get to into the light body.
Oh, true.
I don't
Yeah.
know, but
What is the light body supposed to look like and be like?
almost like the same as from what I understand, basically, it's almost the same as seeing a spirit.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Like, are we gonna be see-through?
Almost like that, yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I mean, I guess it does make sense because like we're gonna be getting kind of lighter and lighter and lighter.
yeah.
And I guess,
So frequency goes in high speed, right?
yeah,
Anything in high speed becomes more see-through, I guess you could
yeah,
say. So as the walls that we see here, the waves, when you're looking at it, they're big waves, like they're very, you
yeah.
know, separated type thing. So that's why we see the wall there. Like if you're staring at the wall, you'll actually see it start moving, right? Because you're actually seeing the waves, you're seeing the energy of a wall.
Oh, that's what that makes sense now.
Yeah.
I thought I was
But
going crazy.
no, no, not at all. No, it's
Oh my gosh, Debbie said, I have never heard of all
all
the
the
other
eyes.
eyes. I have so much to learn from.
Uh,
Oh, stop it. Thank you.
yeah. Yeah, there's quite a few eyes. You said there were 12, right?
Yeah,
There was
12.
12. Yeah. So, but I mean, right now, I think everybody's mainly working with the fifth eye at this moment in time type thing.
Oh, this is one thing that, okay, in our last video and everything, we are trying to figure out why it is that like everyone's talking that we're going from the third eye to the fifth and why we're not
Oh,
sticking
yeah.
in the fourth or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I've been talking to like a lot of people and stuff and just like trying to figure it out. And what a lot of people have told me was that the fourth is the awareness of time.
Ah, okay.
So that kind of makes sense that we are because like I mean with this whole ascension like time's getting faster and stuff like that. And what I think to get to the fifth, what we're breaking out of is our kind of like our false reality over what time is and coming into it, which I feel like that could represent like being more like mindful
Yeah.
again, be
Hmm.
more in the present moment. Um, and just being aware of like the actual what actual time is. And that's probably why we don't stick in it and that's just kind of like a shift into the fifth. So
That
that
makes
makes
total sense. Yeah.
right? That makes a lot
It
more sense
does.
to me now.
Yeah, because now we're talking more so about how, especially with time, trying to explain to a person how the past, present, and future is all in the
Oh yeah.
same time, I guess is the best way of explaining it. Like there is no past and there is no future. Um, but we can bring all those three within one time. So how do you explain that to a person, like to anybody really, honestly,
Yeah.
especially at the beginnings, like as if, you know, you have the past, you have the present, and you have the future. Those are all three different timelines, but
Yeah.
they're not. So, hence probably why we're skipping the fourth, like you said, and getting into the fifth to
Mm.
understand that. It's also
Yeah.
understanding like it's so funny. I was just talking about it actually with my boyfriend the other day.
Yeah.
We were talking about nothing. Like how does nothing exist?
Oh yeah.
And everybody's like, well, the Big Bang Theory and all that type of stuff. Okay, well, if you're in nothing, like how does a Big Bang even start? Because there's nothing.
Hmm.
Um, and oh my God, how did I even get to this conversation now?
I know. This is cool though. It's funny how we're trying to get enough topics to fit in a video and we're just like and we just go down I guess not the rabbit hole, but like it gets really interesting. Hey, what's your thoughts on nothing though? Like what were you gonna say?
Um, it's because it was my boyfriend and a good friend of mine, like for
Hmm.
over 20 years, I've known him, and they were trying to like converse and try to understand what nothing was. Whereas my
Yeah.
friend was saying, well, there's positive and negative, and there's positive and negative within the nothing. So that's what created this Big Bang. But then again, you can still even go deeper and say, well, where did this negative and positive come from?
Because that still is a thing.
It still is a thing. Yes, exactly. But then I was like, okay, we're thinking completely in linear mode. For us, nothing means emptiness.
Yeah.
But does it mean the same thing for the universe?
Mm.
Like are we're just thinking about
We're trying to
in human like thought process, nothing means emptiness. But
yeah.
for the universe, does it mean there's actually emptiness? Because it's not emptiness. When you're in
No.
that darkness, you feel so So fulfilled, I guess, in so many ways. Like when you really do the meditation and you work within yourself, you're in that dark spot. And for a lot of people, that's really scary because
Oh
it
yeah,
feels like
it's the
you're
unknown.
alone type thing,
Yeah,
right? But it's not at all. Once you get into there, you're like, holy crap, like why did it take me so long to get there?
yeah,
Because it's so nice. Um, so it was just really awesome to see the two perspectives because, one thing my boyfriend was saying one thing, like he couldn't understand about the nothing, like there's
yeah,
nothing, so how can anything be created in nothing? And then I had my friend who was trying to explain there is, probably something in nothing, but we don't understand it. And it was either the positive, negative, or who knows, right? Type thing. So
yeah,
it's a never ending, a bit of a never ending story, I guess you can say. I don't know if it's an
yeah.
infinite thing or if there is a,
Well, the way that I think about it and the way that I wrap my head around it is that um is that if there's something that exists in this world, the opposite of it also does exist. And
Mhm.
the way that I think about it is like if you do think about it on a line, if you go because like things aren't actually aligned, it's just our brain kind of thinking about it in that way. But if we ever go too far on this line, we go so far down it that we actually kind of come out the other end. So if we go down like it's like in meditation too, like if we go so far down this line of like calming our thoughts and having like nothing or like not nothing, but like just being in the present moment and just thinking on a certain thing and going so far down that line, I feel like yeah, we come to that state where we start to experience those things in that nothingness. So how can I explain this? It's like we go so far down that line of kind of getting rid of those things and stuff like that that it's actually like a fuller experience that we're having and that could be the nothingness.
Mhm.
So it's like you have to kind of go down that line of leading to nothingness and I don't think you'll ever really get there but then because there's always going to be something else there because like nothingness you could argue it's our not knowing what we don't know.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could be something as well.
And is the nothingness also like the negative aspect and the positive is everything? Is the universe?
See, I don't think so because I think we're bringing it down to the 3D reality if we give it a positive and a negative. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, you can say that too. Yeah, for sure. For me, actually, it's a bit like a timeline though, as the
Yeah?
past, present, and future is one. Nothing and everything is one,
Yeah.
right? To me, that's
It
how
exists
I
at the same.
understand it. Or when people say, you're nothing, but you're everything,
Oh yeah.
right? And then people are gonna think, I'm nothing, like what the heck, but within the universe, in essence, you're really nothing. You're like
Oh
not even a
yeah.
speck of dust. You're nothing.
Literally.
But in the end, you hold the whole universe within you. So you're everything, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways.
I guess it's part of duality then.
Hmm.
Yeah. Everything coincides
And that's
together.
my take on both sides because I was, when you're just in the middle and you're just listening to both, but I really did
Yeah.
understand both sides because one was frustrated how nothing, he doesn't understand how anything can be created within nothing, and the other one was like the complete opposite. And I when I was there at that moment, I couldn't really explain it. But now that I'm with you, now it just kind of all came up,
Yeah.
the way it should be. So yeah, I guess it's just bringing both of them together.
Yeah.
That's what it is in essence and in the end. There is no
Literally.
separating.
Yeah.
So there's no death and there's no life.
I was gonna say this conversation has actually made me feel a lot better around death.
Oh, really?
Because like I was like I'm not like afraid of like death from like this earth or anything, but it's kind of death on like a higher level of like the soul because like the universe is like forever. It's like
Mhm.
eternity.
Mhm.
And when I leave this life and then I go in and I'm like just like my soul and everything and just continuing on with just experience things forever. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? At a point I think some people think that like that sounds great and amazing that you're gonna live forever, but it's also like that's kind of scary that you're just eternity. Like what's at the end of eternity? But it's also like there is not an end because once you get to the end you kind of bring it in again. You know what I mean? It's like that line that we kind of like, it's all in the same, you know? So if I'm in nothing, I'm in everything too.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, that's crazy. That makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're just letting you know if you guys have any questions, just let her. Hi, Jeanette. Yeah, if you have any questions for us or even your input or anything, just let us know. I'm just looking at my little screen here. So, my God, that was an interesting topic.
I know. That was like really deep.
No, it was really cool. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's just interesting always to know somebody else's perspective, right?
Oh
So,
yeah.
um, so yeah, did you want to do I don't know if you want to do maybe like a little guided meditation, or do you want me to do it or do something?
I
You
want
want
you
me
to
to do
do
it? Okay, all
it.
right. So, I know I had a few people asking for a couple of little guided meditations, and I have one that's really, really simple. There's nothing complicated about it. It was something that I had learned from a program that I had taken a few years ago. It was called the Universal Energy, and it was from Master Dang, and he was a Buddhist. And he coached my coach basically, Dawood, and then he taught me. So there's like 8 different levels, and um, it's really getting to get to know yourself and to bring you back into authenticity as much as possible. Um, and this type of meditation was the beginning. What was really quite interesting comparing to other meditations was that you have to keep your eyes open. Bless you. Thank you. You keep your eyes open at the beginning, actually throughout basically all the levels until the 8th one. And then finally you start closing your eyes. I was kind of curious as to know why that was. Most meditations, you have your eyes closed and stuff like that, which is really quite interesting. So the purpose was if you can do meditation with your eyes open, but with your eyes closed is like a cinch. Like it comes really easily and stuff like that. So these types of meditation, you use it while you're doing meetings. Even sometimes when I'm talking with Jade, I go into that, or anybody. I mean, I'm just talking right now,
Yeah.
but with anybody, sometimes I do the meditation within that, even though it doesn't look like it because my eyes are open. And it's not the fact that I'm not listening, I'm actually hearing what you're saying instead of listening to it, which are two different things. Um, and what I mean by that, I guess, is to hear somebody is not necessarily listening to their words, but hearing is almost like feeling what it is that they're going through. So they explain what they're going through. And then in the end, you're like, oh, okay, so you're just, you're feeling lonely, or you're feeling that sadness, or you're going through this, or you're going through that. We have our stories, and we're all going through so much right now. Um, Probably will. So we'll be doing like going through a lot of stuff for the next couple of years. But um, if we're able to work with our emotions and especially work with our mind first, which is first and foremost, everything kind of comes easily afterwards. So what we'll do, and it's only going to be like 2 minutes. It's nothing really long, obviously. You guys do it on your own time. You can do it a lot longer. But the only thing I would say is just, sorry, I got it.
Gotta readjust.
We're like so squishy in this little screen here. So yeah, first and foremost, you just sit on a chair or on your bed. You can be lying down, nothing complicated, just in a relaxed position. I'm just gonna see here if everything is okay. Yeah. All right. So once you're in that position, keep your hands on your lap. If you can, to keep your feet actually on the ground for this meditation. It's nice to just keep yourself grounded while you're doing these meditations. And then you take 3 really nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through your mouth. Do it another 2 times. And don't be shy. Let all of the air out from your belly, from your lungs. Now, I'd like you to look forwards. Find a spot that you can look for the next 2 minutes. You can blink. It's not a problem. It's just the fact that you're thinking and you're seeing that dot in front of you or whatever it is in front of you. And within the next 2 minutes, just want you to not concentrate, but think about your crown chakra. Just feel the sensation. Still keeping your body all nice and relaxed. If your mind goes elsewhere, it's totally fine. Just come back to center. Go back to thinking about your crown chakra. You can see it in any color that you want, whatever comes to you. Whatever images come to you, it's totally fine. See it expanding. And keep breathing. Take in another deep breath. Go back again to your crown chakra for another few seconds. Feel the light going through your crown, all the way down to your feet. Come back to center. Take another 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through your mouth. All right, now we can come back.
You look so calm.
Hopefully it calms you down a little bit. It's a really simple meditation, nothing complicated. But when you're going through your ups and downs or just stuff during the day, just take that 2 minutes just to do that. Just simply thinking about your crown chakra, that's all it is. And it's not focusing, but it's just thinking about it. And the reason being is that because our minds are so all over the place, multitasking and everything, we don't ask people to not think of anything, but you start focusing on one thing or thinking of one thing at first. And once you're able to think about that for a little while, then you go into focusing and then you go beyond. And it really helps to keep the mind into mindfulness, actually. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
okay?
like that feeling. No, I
Yeah,
do. I'm
okay.
just like, yeah.
Sometimes it takes a couple of sessions before feeling anything. Everybody goes through different modes and waves of getting that sensation and stuff like that. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good. I enjoy it anyways. I remember it was especially for me at the beginning, it was really needed. Um, I was just all over the place, and not to say that I'm not all over the place now. I'm sure that some people would say that, but it just really helps to bring back into focus. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
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 Cool. So the next thing actually we want to talk about was actually we did talk about it. No, we didn't.
No.
About the so I don't know if you want to explain it a little bit more because you're the one who came up with it, but
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
yeah.
And then you can we'll
Yeah.
talk about our
Our
experiences.
experiences, yeah.
Um, so I guess like a few weeks ago, I have hair in my mouth. Sorry, I can't do it with hair in my mouth. Okay. Um, um,
Sorry. Okay.
that's so out of the blue. Um, which leads us to our experience of the third eye to the heart. So, like a couple of weeks ago, I was like in meditation, just like channeling like what I wanted to bring to this and talk about. And we didn't get to talk about it in the last one, but I wanted to talk about it this time. But what had came through to me was connecting your third eye to your heart. Um, which was quite cool. And I realized I needed to do it because I kept on thinking about it. And then I had met a lady earlier this week who I didn't say anything about her about it to her about how, this kept on having been like a reoccurring thought that I had to do that connection, but I just hadn't done it yet. And then we were talking about meditation. She was like, actually, what was a big awakening for her and stuff like that was suddenly she was in meditation one of these times and she just felt the call to connect her third eye to her heart. And it just like opened up a whole bunch of stuff for her. And I was like, wow. I was like, hey, I need to do this. So I texted Jose and I was like, let's both practice this to see what we get from it. Which it was really it was really cool. Um, for me, I've never had done any practices where I try to connect my chakras to anything. I've always worked on them separately
Mhm.
and just go from one to the next and maybe flow the energy through them, like the white light or whatever, but never actually like focusing on connecting them together. So this was really cool because I felt when I was trying to do the connection, um, I was mostly just trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was like the metaphor that I could use to explain it was that, there's water flowing and then there's like a dam and it was basically like opening and closing that dam and just trying to keep it open, not putting any pressure on it, but just keeping it open to allow it to happen, that experience of that that fluidity
Flow.
of the connection, yeah,
Hmm.
that flow.
Yeah.
So that was the coolest thing to do. So now I feel a lot more called to like work on like whatever I feel called to, like connecting my chakras together and doing that type of stuff, especially with the third eye to the heart, because I know there's more of an experience to be experienced from that. I'm just kind of starting off with with just experiencing the connection of it first.
Hmm.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool to do that because they say that your heart or like your heart chakra is like your real brain type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they say that there's three different brains. Let's just say your heart is your first,
Yeah.
your gut is your second, and this one's your third.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. So that's so cool because then
yeah.
you're connecting like one of your brains with your that makes sense, three brains. I thought you were gonna say like the chambers of the heart have like three brains or something, like an octopus or whatever. But
No, no, it's
are
the
octopuses like spiritual animals? Well, I feel like yeah, they would be. Some people think they're aliens,
well, it's because they look kind of alienish.
and
Like
they're
when
actually
you,
very smart.
yeah, I know they're very
Yeah.
smart. No, for
I
sure.
wonder if they have like five brains then. That'd be so cool. Think about it.
No, I think they have that one brain, and I don't know how many hearts.
They have three hearts.
Three? Okay, I wasn't too sure first. Oh yeah, of course, three.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, which totally makes sense. If they had any more brains, they wouldn't be able to like squish you in all the little different areas, right?
No.
No, I don't know. I'm just
I
talking.
know. I'm just like going with it. But
So what were we talking about before?
the brains.
Oh, the
But
heart,
yeah,
the connection,
the
yes.
heart, your heart's your first brain, and then this is your third one, or your second one, and then this is your third one.
It
I've heard that before,
depends.
but yeah, I've never really thought about it that way. That makes sense though.
Yeah, it depends on who you're talking to. If you're talking to sometimes the medical system, they actually say that your gut is first brain,
Oh, okay.
because there's so much going on in there that it just influences the brain
Mhm.
automatically. Example would be like for myself, I didn't know at the time, but I'm gluten intolerant.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, I mean, I've always eaten the same thing, but then all of a sudden I was getting migraines, and I don't even have like headaches.
Oh.
And then yeah, she was telling me, well, it's because when you eat this, it doesn't only attack your stomach, but it's attacking your brain at the same time.
Oh.
So that's why I was getting these massive migraines. So that's why they say this is your first brain. Then they bypass the heart. Obviously, they go to the brain here, and then this would be your third. So it depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
If you're talking about in spirituality, then your heart is first, and then your gut and your head. I don't know.
Huh. Huh.
Either or. I mean, they're all brains, and they all need to function
Yeah.
together. That's the whole
True.
point. So that's why with your third eye to the heart, I mean, that's that one connection, but you have this one
Yeah.
here afterwards, and that's the emotional one,
Yeah.
right? So, but once you get your mind, I don't want to say in control, but when you really start understanding yourself,
Mm-hmm.
um, then you're able to control or to feel the feelings that you have within your gut too at the same time. You're
Mm-hmm.
mentally strong to
Mm-hmm.
understand that this is just an emotion, and that you can surpass it type thing, and just let it go through basically.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's part of like one of the ascension processes is that we're supposed to be like we're not supposed to be ruled by our emotions or anything like that, having more control of it and how we feel and stuff like that, and not being controlled by our emotions.
well, it's not the fact of not being controlled, it's just the fact of feeling it without
True. That actually makes, yeah,
without having that fear that it's going to be there forever type thing,
true.
right? Because that's the thing, is that we feel those feelings, it feels awful sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and you just don't want to deal with it. You feel it's overwhelming or this and that. But when you have that understanding that it's just an emotion, just go through it. And what's amazing afterwards is when you are going through it. At the beginning, of course, it takes a little bit of time, but once you actually do it on a constant basis, that emotion like pretty much dissipates within no time. And then you're like, sometimes it's really weird because you're going through it, it really hurts, and then all of a sudden it stops. And you're like, what the fudge? Like where did that go? I'm serious. Well, anyways,
That nothingness.
that was my experience. It was like I asked my body, I
Yeah.
said, okay, you know what, whatever I need to let go, just pass through.
Yeah,
And
that's
when that
okay.
emotion came up, of course, either I was crying or this and that, and then all of a sudden I had nothing left to cry. Like it was just
Yeah.
done.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I should practice a lot more. The way that like how I kind of relate to that is both like being an empath and all like that. Like you walk down the street and like this is why it's again so important to be like mindful is that uh I would find myself walking down the street and stuff and suddenly I would just start feeling so like shameful of myself and I
Mm-hmm.
would be like I didn't know where it came out from and it's been more recurring that I started being able to understand what's my emotions and what are not my emotions and so when I walk down the street and suddenly I just start to feel this shamefulness I start to kind of backtrack where it came from and if I can't figure out where it came from, then suddenly I just kind of have this realization that it's not my emotion.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of let go of it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
so easy just to like it's not even like pushing it out of your body with the light and everything like that. It's literally just like it's out. You know what I mean? You're aware of it, so it's gone.
Yes.
And it's so
Yeah.
cool. Again,
Actually,
it sucks in
yeah.
the moment though.
Yeah, it does suck in the moment. Yeah, no, for sure. Even you just reminded me, like some people ask also, like, how do you know it's your emotions or if it's somebody else's emotions and stuff? And I remember an instance, I was with my aunt actually in Montreal, and this was like a long time ago, but when
Hmm.
there were when CDs and all that were like we were in this HMV store or whatever, and I was with my aunt and there was nobody there. Then all of a sudden this woman comes around and she's, beside me, and I was feeling this god awful feeling. Like I don't even know how to explain it. It was like a whole bunch of emotions all mushed up in one.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, why am I feeling so yucky or whatever? And then I realized this woman was behind me. And so I said, oh, just out of curiosity, I said, let me just go a little bit further. And so I went at the end of the aisle and I didn't feel it anymore.
Oh wow.
So that was my first understanding of what it means to um, either feel my own feelings or feeling somebody else's feelings at the same time. I didn't
Hmm.
even have to do like the letting go or anything. It was just the fact of being in her presence was all those
Yeah.
mushy feelings, right? And stuff like that. So again, within my practice and stuff like that, we transfer energy to the person. And hopefully, they either accept it or not. It's totally up to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first time that I kind of realized what it meant to feel somebody else's stuff and versus to your own and whatnot. So yeah. You just
Yeah.
reminded me of that when
That's so
yeah.
cool. Well, it's so cool too that you don't even have to move yourself far. It's like a little distance because again, that like very like if it's a lot of like low vibrational like negative energy, like it's that thing like with the aura and stuff like that is that when you're feeling those emotions, your aura kind of goes in and kind of compacts itself.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if you're close to that like that compact, mushed up feeling,
Hmm.
it's like affects you more, but you just like step, a little bits of ways and it's like it slowly dims because it's so compact.
Yeah. Hmm.
Where it's so cool though, because if you're having this like happy, amazing like type of feeling, I don't know, euphoric, like loving feeling, it spreads out so far. And I feel like so many, if people are around you, so many people would get it.
Yeah, it's almost like when some people just walk into the room
That's
and
literally
then
what I was just thinking.
everybody just smiles, laughs all of a sudden and
Yeah.
things like that's what it is.
Well,
Yeah.
like one of the things
Yeah.
too that I find is so cool. Oh
Sorry.
my God, I got
You
turned
got to come
around now. I'm
closer.
like,
Yeah. With this
wow.
thing like we can't fit each other.
I
Anyway,
know.
almost have to be even face to face here.
I know. Um, is that like it's like those people where like somebody will just walk in the room and then suddenly like you don't even know somebody's walking into the room and it's like just like the people you're talking about, you guys all just like look back and you just see
Yeah.
it. Like I see it happen a lot when I go out with my friends or something like that. Or like one of my friends will who I know has like very powerful type of energy and I'll just look back and suddenly they'll be right
You'll be
there.
right there.
And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's just like you're not conscious about it, but you're subconsciously aware of it
Hmm.
and the effect it has on you. So it's so cool. I try to do that. Sometimes before I go into a room, I'll like really spice up my energy and really just like bring in this love and everything like that. And I'll walk into the room and I'll see if it works. And like I find that if I don't try really hard at it and I just allow myself to bring in
Yeah.
the feeling,
Mm.
that's when I'll see a lot of people like heads clicks and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm that girl.
Actually,
It's
the
so
other thing
cool.
too that you can even try, and I did this with my kids actually, to kind of just help them see how it works. So I was told before, like, when you go into a restaurant and it's empty,
Oh yeah.
and then a few seconds later, all of a sudden, a whole bunch of people come in.
Hmm.
That's you attracting all these people coming in.
Really?
Yeah. So at first I was like, okay,
Wow.
yeah, whatever, we'll see if that actually. Every time I did it with my kids, because I was kind of not that I was how can I say this? I was just, teaching them and stuff like that. Like
Yeah, just
expand
playing with
your
it.
your aura and stuff like that. And let's just
Yeah.
see how this works. And I mean we go at odd times, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon when there's really literally nobody going in to eat and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
But yeah, we would go into restaurants and we, get served right away because we were the only ones there. And then just literally a few minutes later, there was like sometimes 8 to 12 people after us coming in all of a sudden. And I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And it wasn't just one time. It was like consistently one thing after another. So it definitely does
Oh, that's so
It definitely works
cool.
that way. So yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to try that and test it out, go right ahead type thing. So
Yeah.
it's definitely something to just work with and look into type thing. So
Yeah. I think Deb had a question. Any suggestions on how to release those empathic feelings when you're living in the same space? Oh, yeah.
the
I was thinking like gold light.
gold light, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the importance is what I was always told is basically don't let somebody else's emotional status or emotional whatever it is that they're going through. Try not to let it affect you as much type thing. And by doing that is it's always staying balanced within yourself. So it's not trying to solve that person's issue. Um, yeah, it's a really hard one. And I completely understand this one
Yeah.
because I went through a divorce not too long ago. So I completely understand when you're living in that space with certain people, how do you kind of keep that at bay? And I know it's going to sound really maybe selfish, but in a lot of ways, just think about yourself at that time. Like work on yourself as much as possible. Um, People around you are either going to stay or they're either going to leave. And it's not about selfishness. It's you deserve the peace and everything else around you. So it has nothing to do with being selfish. I know that everybody, I don't know, everybody kind of puts that on a pedestal, like don't think about yourself, you got to think about everybody else. The problem is when you start thinking about everybody else, you deplete yourself so much. Um, you're of no help for yourself or anybody else around you in the end. So, to answer that question, I guess, yeah, it would be always make sure to prioritize you as much as possible. Do the meditations, do whatever comes to you. It doesn't even have to be meditation. If it's going out for a walk or whatever, getting out of that person's space. Sometimes we got to get out of our own space in their mind. So to change it up and stuff. I'm just trying to think of anything else. Breathing really helps a lot too. I know it seems really insignificant in so many ways because it's like, okay, you're just breathing, but you're also processing a lot of things, not only for yourself, but for the person that is there with you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think the best thing I can say is, put yourself first. So, a lot of women in general, I guess you can say, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of women in general, we always put everyone else first. And I understand that. It's just that if it's going to, affect your health and your mind, your balance, your peace, and all that different types of stuff, you really have to get back to center and work on you basically. So, but that's my intake on it. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I can definitely relate to that too. And it's also just I don't know. I don't want to say fixing it, like changing that thought process on when you feel somebody having a big emotion and like what do you do? A lot of the times people will take it onto themselves as well. And it's just kind of not creating that like wall, but kind of like a boundary of sorts where it's just like this is like bringing back into the mind and body, as you're saying, remembering that this is their emotion, this is their experience,
Hmm.
keeping just being awareness of like having that awareness of your own state, and that is what you can do for yourself. And then if you need to help that person, then you can go into helping that person. But again, that's the thing too, is that you can't really help everyone else before you kind of help yourself, because it's hard helping another person when you're not in that state.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's also the thing too, is that if you're getting their energy, they may be also getting your energy as well. Like if somebody's feeling this
For
anger
sure.
and stuff like that, and then you're trying to help them, but you're trying to help them, and that's giving you anxiety, then that maybe just be, and it's just like a ping pong of like emotions, and nobody's really helping each other. So it's kind of hard. But
Yeah.
typically, what I do. spiritually, is that gold light is very like protective. So like that's like if somebody's trying to push an energy onto you or something like that, then I would say then like you can use that gold light. It's even useful when you go outside or anytime. It's just a protection. It's also a grounding.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely grounding. So that's actually what I was going to talk about the next time we get together. Was about anxiety and depression and things like that, things that are kind of affecting us, especially, well, I mean, I say especially now, but I mean it's been hitting all of us for quite a long time due to God, so many things. Social media, due to our family, lineage and stuff like that, and ideologies and beliefs, and how we can kind of overcome a couple of those things, like all of these anxieties and whatnot. So I was thinking actually of doing that for our next session together.
Oh, anxiety and stuff. Yeah, anxiety is
Yeah,
a cool one and like the whole all the stuff behind it and what it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely yes, yeah. So she said, you got it bang on there, from Deb, yeah.
I know I saw that. I was like,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
cute. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's just all about, it's always bringing yourself back into that center space. So what I mean by center space is always within the heart. Um, and with the emotional stuff, that's a little bit of, like, it's always a little bit of practice. It's getting your mind uh, as strong as possible. And once you get that mindset, getting it into that type of control and stuff like that, then the emotions come, like they kind of pass through really easily. But before getting there, yeah, it's really not easy when you have other people in your space.
Yeah.
And that's when you have to kind of figure out, okay, well, those who are in my space, do I continue being there, or, what can I do to make the changes and stuff like that? So always, the changes is always about, what I'm talking about is about yourself. Um, Anyways, that's kind of basically what I did.
Hmm.
And that's all I can really tell you is through experience type thing. So I had to make changes. I couldn't do what I was doing anymore. And it was hellish for a little while. But now I'm like happier than ever. So a year later. But yeah, it's a heck of a process. But I know everybody, has their own way of doing it. And thank you for asking that question there, Deb. So nice to see you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we can do our collective reading. Are
Yeah.
you ready for that?
I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
Cool.
so this is perfect moment now. Okay. I brought my own deck this time.
Cool. Awesome.
So I'm so excited. Oh, I love this deck so much. It's the Blue Angel Oracle by Tony Carmen Salerno. Can't really say her name anymore on it or his name because it's very much
It's actually where
used.
my father lives in Italy, or in Salerno.
Oh,
It's
really?
a little village called Agnone, but it's within the province of Salerno. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that's so funny. Wow.
Cute.
Right?
So we're just gonna do a collective reading,
Hmm.
and so if you guys have any questions or whatnot, just let us know before. Here, I think I had seen some. I saw. Oh gosh, good old Facebook, eh? No, I think we got everything. Cool. Nice. Yo, hold.
Hello, ladies. Love listening to you both. Ah.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, so I just guess reading for the collective.
Mhm.
Yeah, awesome. Spirit, please protect this reading with love and light. Please protect me, Jose, and the collective and bring forth what the collective needs to know in the highest form. Thank you. feel like I need to clear these cards again. 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, that feels good now. That's a cool bowl.
That's good.
I'm reading perspective. Oh. Now that feels better. I don't know what it is. I knew that one was supposed to come out. I just didn't think the other cards out of it was. I knew that. Oh, see, the artwork on these are like amazing. Like, look at that.
Wow. Yeah, it's true, right?
Right? I just want to show them all three. Oh, this one is beautiful. Is it life everlasting?
Nice.
Um, so there's three huge things here. I feel like what this represents is building a new road, and sometimes by building the new road and allowing things to flourish, like how a forest, like it typically it starts to flourish a lot, many years after like a fire's kind of gone through there because it's burned all the old and it's made the soil very crisp for new things to come through.
Yeah.
So I think this has to do more so like this trail right here, trail of thought. I feel like as you're coming into thinking in a new way, a higher perspective in it, of any sorts, um, sometimes things need to leave, like an old reality, an old way of thinking about things, an old perspective needs to kind of die off in a sense to allow for the higher perspective to kind of come through and kind of take charge in that. It's a processes. Oh
Oops.
dang.
I guess we're back on. Okay.
Hi. I'm not sure how much you heard there. But it's a process of letting the old way of thinking about things die off and allowing the new to come through. Um, and I think when the new kind of comes through, again, the next card, it's kind of the reverse. The first card was 23 with kind of the dying off of the old perspective and the flourishing of like the new land. And then it comes to 32, which is the reverse, which I love it because it's like duality, what we were talking about
exactly.
earlier.
Yeah, you're right.
The everything and nothing at the same time.
Mm.
It's kind of coming into this higher, like a higher perspective, like kind of a new perspective in a sense. I like it because the card here is like it's called Michael Descent. So this is the Archangel like Michael deck. An Archangel has to do again, it protection and truth with the sword and stuff. Um, as you're starting to fold into a new awareness of looking through it, look kind of through the darkness of it, kind of like a glass, like you're looking through a kaleidoscope or something like that. When you look through it, that's how you kind of get to that new perspective. So it's that movement through kind of like the darkness that gets you to the end road, like what you were saying with like the experiencing it until there's nothing left to be experienced really, and you kind of flowed through to the next thing. But through this one right here, I find it's more so looking through the bad into the new perspective. And then the life everlasting is, I feel like this is kind of leading you guys into more of an awareness of eternity and that energy kind of around it. As like things are flowing more through and more effortlessly, kind of like this energy, which kind of leads us to the 6 right there. So in all, I think this is kind of what it's telling all of you guys is to allow yourself to go through that process of dying the old way of thinking and just allow yourself, and by doing that the new kind of way of thinking is just going to come through really effortlessly because you've allowed to give it that space for it to come through. So it's seeing the maybe the negative points in our thinking and changing that And by doing that, you're allowing that space for a higher awareness to kind of come through, just an awareness. And by doing that, you're allowing yourself to look through and even deeper through that chaos into kind of a brighter light. And by doing that, I think you're going to connect a lot more with yourself and kind of the energy of eternity, of life everlasting, of that continuity of the energy. How do you feel?
So for myself, same thing for this one here for Mercurius. So it's we're all kind of going through this really quite uncomfortable stage um because of all the shedding and everything that we're all going through. Again, like what Jade was mentioning was, yeah, the it's a change basically. If we want to call it the death of the old, we can call it that way too, but it's just that that change that's really happening within us. Again, very uncomfortable type of stage, but it's really necessary for anything new to kind of come in, right? And here, the second one here, the what I see for myself is that as a collective, like I do see everything here, animals, everybody's almost like kind of working together and seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. And that's like really quite in the near future, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Just seeing all the brightness and whatnot. And you do have another group here. I don't know if you see, but you have another group right here of people. And so it kind of coincides with this next one. What my understanding is that we all have choices, and either we stay into the old paradigm shift, or we decide to go what we call or what we're calling the new world, the new era and stuff like that. And that's the beauty of life, right? Is the fact that we have choices. And so we either step into the new or we stay into the old. It's totally your choice. And there's no right or wrong or anything of that sort. It's just look at the perspective, look at your life, um, and just try to see what it is that, you know, what kind of changes and stuff like that that you can do, or what type of improvements that you can do for yourself in order to walk towards that light a little bit more, if you want to, of course, in the end. But yeah, it's an everlasting life, right? It's either or type thing. It's either going into the new or staying in the old. Either way, it's your choice. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of like we're really into that different dimensional state right now. We're kind of like almost separating those who don't want to evolve, I guess, in so many ways, or going in one direction. Those who want to, then they're going into another type thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
I like how you put that though. It's not like a negative or a good thing or anything. It's just a decision.
It's a decision.
I
Yeah,
like that.
decision. Yeah.
Takes the pressure off.
Okay.
If
I
you
guess,
want to
yeah.
say it's okay, let it go, it's okay.
It's because there's a certain point, and I know this one's really hard to understand too, though there is no good and bad.
Well, yeah, that's the part of heading into that higher, that next eyes, that the third eye is that duality, but we're stepping out of it and we're coming into that wholeness of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
that's
So
cool. Yeah.
that's why I say it's just a separation,
Yeah,
a different dimensional state, I guess you can say. So either we follow or we don't. That's the thing right now. So
exactly.
that's
But
cool.
we're gonna have a group to go with though, which is nice.
Yes.
We're going all with each other. We're gonna like be like skipping into the next place together and like holding hands.
Jeez, yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty good. Cool. No, it's pretty awesome.
One image that I got, and maybe it's just because I've been thinking about it a lot. When I saw this, I kind of saw you know when, oh my gosh, what's his name? I literally just had it. He's the guy who separated the water in like the Bible. What's his name?
Oh, Moses.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Moses, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I knew you knew. I was like, what's his name? Yeah, that's kind of what it looked like, and we're just all kind of like going through. But instead of it like being like waves kind of splitting, it's kind of more like a them kind of going in a circle. Like that's why I saw here like that water.
Like a portal.
Yeah, like a portal of water,
Okay.
which is so cool.
Yeah, no, it is. That's
Yeah.
cool. Awesome. Were there any other questions?
No, I thought
Are
I'd
you coming
see.
close to? Oh, thank you, Deb.
I know, both our eyes
Cute.
glue in.
Yeah. We should really, actually, you should come over here and have a coffee with us.
Literally.
Seriously, yes. Maybe that's what we'll do.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so much
Hey,
fun.
Deb, what do you think? Anyways, well, thank you for being here with us. We really, yeah, thank you enjoying. We're always enjoying this. Of course, we're just gonna improve our stuff a little bit better and better every time, but hopefully this helped out a little bit. And if you have any suggestions of anything for us to talk about, yeah,
She said she
awesome.
would love
Yeah.
that.
Cool. Okay, we're gonna talk to you soon.
Yeah.
We're gonna let you know about that. So again, yeah, thank you for being here and really appreciate your time. And again, if you have any suggestions, let us know. I'm going to be posting this up on the YouTube channel also. It's called the Seekers of Truth, the number 801. If you want to subscribe and yeah, so I
Yeah.
think that's about it.
Yeah, I guess that's everything to it. Okay.
Okay, guys. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
See you next time.
Yeah, see you next time. Take care.